for these potatoes to kind of totally die, but check this out. This one's starting to put on new growth. So I guess we'll leave these ones a little bit longer. These ones look like they're pretty much done. But again, on this one, new growth. So we'll check that out here in a couple days. Inside the main garden, you can already see, look at all this growth from this one pumpkin. It's crazy. And then this in the front here is the butternut. And I see I've got another guy I got to train up the trellis here. So we'll have to work on that. There's a couple little ones in here. Oh, there's a bigger one back there. And there's a really big one back in the back there. Tons of flowers still coming on here. My extra cantaloupe here that's got some flowers that I just threw in this little side piece. Corn still all looking really, really good. We actually pulled a few ears the other day that looked like they were ready. And probably could have left them on just a few days longer, but they were really delicious. And then here, check this out. Look how big they're getting. This one probably needs to be picked. I like to just pull it back and check to see for kernel formation. Definitely seeing some there, so maybe I'll come out and pick this later today. So heavy it's tipping over this corn plant, so try to prop him up a little better. But lots of corn forming, even some new cobs forming on these plants. And just unbelievably tall. It's crazy. The peas are all done for the most part. The ones that are coming up are pretty tough, and there's a couple that are good, I guess. This one's good. What I'm going to do though is wait for them to dry up and then take the seeds out of them. I don't see any quite right away here that are like that, but let them get really big, let them dry all the way up, and then take those seeds out. And I'll save those for next year. But you can see they're all dead. I had planted a few down here, but I think the heat just finally got to them. Our air conditioning went out, so I wasn't out here fixing them up. Looks like maybe something came out and ate them too. It could be little bunnies. I planted some beans over here too, and I see only just a couple of them made it. Right down the center here. A lot of this is crabgrass, but you can see some of the carrots that I had planted are coming up. So hopefully get a few more carrots out of this area. Here are spinach is finally dying. You can see these little clusters. That's where those seeds are going to come from. So once these are all dried up, I'll come out and get those seeds too. The broccoli is totally done, but I'm leaving it because apparently these cabbage moths are having a great time over here and leaving my other plants alone. And they're flowering, which means that any of these offshoots are going to be kind of bitter. Yeah. But you know, picking off little pieces. I pulled out a bunch of the beets here because it's just been too darn hot. I can't even keep up with watering them, and they're just getting tough. So I picked all of the beets for now. I'll do another planting here in a week or two when it isn't 90 degrees outside. Over here on the back trellises, you can see here's a pumpkin on this one. Got a pumpkin there growing up the sides of my fence here. Here's another one that's even starting to yellow a little bit. So we'll have pumpkins before you know it. Planted them earlier this year, and that is definitely paying off. A lot of these little cantaloupes on here. The one we picked before was not very sweet, so I'm trying to leave these ones on as long as I possibly can before I think they're ready. So just lots of those here. We have a couple of watermelon left. I think we got about 5 watermelon out of these couple plants here this year. So I think next year we'll try bigger ones just for a larger one. Cucumbers are still growing really well. Looks like I have to come out here and pick again. I just did more cans of pickles just like 2 days ago. So I've already got, you can see here's another one. There's another one. Here's another one going. So lots of cucumbers to pick. Beans are still doing well. These bush beans in the middle have kind of met their match, I think, for both heat, and looks like a lot of maybe flea beetles are getting to them. So these ones are pretty much done, but the green beans are doing pretty well. They're still popping out several good ones. So still harvesting off of those, and then hopefully a couple of those ones I replanted in the center will give me even more, but lots of flowers still coming in on these ones. So that's good. Maybe they shaded themselves a little bit with how much they have of foliage on them. So I'll have to come out and pick these again, I can see. We have green beans for our side vegetable a lot this time of the year. Or I can them. Not can them, sorry. I put them in the freezer. I don't like canned beans. I don't understand them. They're too mushy for me. But you can see here, I'm just, even in the last, 30 seconds, I mean, with one hand, I'm already picking tons of big ones. So we'll come back out here and get those. The tomatoes are definitely starting to come in. You can see a couple of these are blushing down here, but I've had plenty of red ones come in that I've already pulled. I'm already filling my freezer with those, especially these cherry tomatoes. These are grape tomatoes actually, but there's cherry and grape tomatoes down this trellis. Lots of those. There's some cherries. And I like to pick them when they're, blushed, but not like red, ripe. I know that they would taste better if I left them on here red, ripe, like this. But the birds like to get to them at that point. So I usually pick them when they're close to fully ripened and then let them fully ripen inside. Some of our pepper plants. Some of these peppers are getting so big. Looks like one fell off already here. So I guess we'll take this little tiny guy inside. We can eat him. Look at this. Look. My first blaze orange pepper. I know I just covered him with a leaf. My first blaze orange pepper of the year. That's exciting. And my first red cayenne pepper starting down here. So we're starting to get close, guys, into picking these. They're starting to color up. Lots of peppers. Lots of poblanos on this one. So excited to make salsa. Let's see. I did pick some jalapenos the other day, but we've got, tons just coming in more. So we got 2 plants of those over here ready to go. And I learned something. I didn't mean to, but I tricked my husband. This plant, for some reason, I thought it was a banana pepper that I just didn't remember planting. But guess what? This is a Hungarian wax pepper. Came with my hot pepper mix that I had planted out. And it's very hot. So I told him, here, take a bite of this. It's not hot at all. Because I had tried one before and it wasn't hot. And well, it burned his mouth out. And then I took a bite and it burned my mouth out. So Hungarian wax, not banana peppers. And then this bed here of carrots, I've been picking a few out here and there as I find some larger ones. Basically what I'm doing is I'm just picking them when I think they're a good size to eat. And then I'm leaving them in here. I'll just pull one out here so you can see. Some of them are short and fat, like this one's pretty short. But look how big on the top it is. It kind of tricked me to pull it. But that lets the other ones kind of grow more. Thins them out basically as they're growing. And my daughter will eat this for sure, so... Here in this pumpkin, I'll try to see if I can find a few for you to see. There's one back there. I think this is my pie pumpkin, which makes me so happy because I want to make fresh pumpkin pie out of fresh pumpkins this year. I think that would be so yummy. Maybe some pumpkin ravioli. Another one starting to get yellow and everything. We have tons of pumpkins off of this plant, and that's so exciting for me. Picked most of the zucchini when I was out here the other day, but I see, if you know zucchini, it just keeps growing. Here's another one I gotta pick. I'm sure there's more if I keep looking. My celery, I still have 3 of the plants that I haven't cut down at all, so these are full-size celery plants here. And then I'll show you this one over here. It's one of the ones that I cut down. You can see how I cut it down and it's regrowing out of the center. So what I did with this one and with the one right next to it here is I cut them down and I'm going to let the center grow up, and I can use the new growth as fresh eating. And I put the ones that I cut down into the freezer for soups and chicken pot pies and things. So that's really cool. I've never done that before. Best celery harvest ever, I tell ya. We come down on this side again. I'll just head back over by the back corner. Here's where those onions are that have been here for a while, and they are starting to get ready to seed. So you can tell that the flowers have gone from like this one, where they're nice and puffy and open flowers, to this enclosed little capsule looking. Even this one's closer to ready. They have like almost like a little paper coating on them. So that means these will be ready to give me seeds really soon. So I'm hoping to get seeds from these for onions to plant in my garden next year. I know we had a melon growing back here too. Yeah, my little tiny guy, he volunteered. He's got that. Our sunflowers are starting to grow. They're getting really big, but no heads yet. These are those Russian mammoths, so they take a while. And then some of my hollyhocks. My hollyhocks have so many buds on them still, so I'm sure we'll get months more of beautiful flowers off of those. Then we have a couple more cherry and grape tomatoes over here, and you can just see tons more growth on these. So we will continue to pick them. I usually just let the girls eat them, but we have been overrun this year. Most of the time, I only plant 1 or 2 of them, and somehow I ended up with 4 this year. So we have lots. Oh, look at this little guy. A couple little, I don't know what they're doing there. Well, they might be doing the dirty. And there's a couple little, I don't know if they're Asian beetles or if they're actually ladybugs, but they look cute. They're right on top of my dill plant. So that is the garden. The raspberries are still like crazy up there. Not really anything new to show you, just tons of berries on there. So I'll let you just imagine that one. But this is where we're at. We need to do some harvesting today, and then we will be ready to start pulling a lot of these things in the near future for the corn and the pumpkins and all of that. So thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time.